everyone, I have my tea. I ran to the store to get chocolate biscuits just to have them with my tea, and I'm ready to do a little sit down and chat about the books that I'm excited to read this year. It's a little different to my usual videos. I normally am doing some vlogs, but I thought I'd do a proper sit down and just chat through the books I'm excited for. So without further ado, I will start with the physical books that I actually have on my shelf waiting for me. And firstly, I have Nettle and Bone by T. Kingfisher. If you saw my Christmas vlog, you know that I got this for Christmas, and I'm really excited to read it. It is my first T. Kingfisher book, and it sounds really, really good. You know, it sounds kind of dark, macabre. There is goblins, there's a chicken possessed by a demon. It just sounds like a really exciting story, and I'm looking forward to reading this one. So the next book on my TBR is Half a Soul by Olivia Atwater. I think I will be reading this one next. I just finished Emily Wild's Map of the Otherlands, and this was pretty much the next book that I wanted to read. It sounds really, really lovely. It's about Theodora, who was cursed with half a soul, and it means that she kind of has like no inhibitions almost, and it's set in Regency kind of England, giving very much Bridgerton vibes, which I really loved. And I've heard it's kind of like that meets Howl's Moving Castle, so I'm super excited for this. There are also fairies in it, and you know I love a good fairy book, and I'm just super excited to read this. I know it's like a fade to black romance, so if you want something that is a romance with fairies and is set in a kind of Regency era, then I think this is for you. I'm super excited to read it. Okay, so the next book on my TBR wish list is The Serpent and the Wings of Night by Carissa Broadman. Now this is said to be like Hunger Games meets Twilight meets ACOTAR, and I think it kind of blew up on TikTok. It's a kind of fantasy with vampires, there's enemies to lovers, there's like a tournament where people have to fight, and if you know me, you know I love enemies to lovers, and you know I also love a good kind of like fighting tournament. So I'm really excited for this because I have felt the lack of vampire books. You know, I'm a girlie that grew up on Twilight. I grew up reading those books. I know that they were like not amazing, but they like shaped my, I guess, fantasy and childhood. And I'm looking forward to the vampire resurgence that is supposedly coming. I mean, I also like love Buffy the Vampire Slayer as well. Like, don't get me started on that, because when I watched that and I finished all, like, I think it's 8 seasons, I cried. I sobbed for a full, like, 2 hours afterwards. I was like, don't know what to do with myself now. So yeah, I digress, but I'm excited to read this. I've not really read anything by Carissa Broadman before, so yeah, I'm super excited. So the next book I'm really super excited to hopefully pick up this year is Ninth House by Lee Bardugo. Now, I know Hellbent has come out already, and I didn't realise that was like the follow-up to this book, so I don't really want to read the follow-up until I've read the first one. Sorry, I just knocked something over. But yeah, anyway, this is basically like university, there's homicides, there's secret societies, I think like occult practices, and it sounds really fun. It's kind of, what did I watch recently? Oh, there's some kind of like something on Netflix. If I find it, I'll put a picture up here of what it was. Oh no, it's called The Order. It kind of sounds similar to that, with like the secret societies and occult. So I'm looking forward to it. I love a kind of horror book as well. If you don't know, I am a big Stephen King fan, so I do love my horrors as well as my fantasy. So the next book I'm really excited to pick up this year is Feybound by Sarah El-Arafi. I know this came out in January this year, so it's very recently come out, and it follows 2 elven sisters. One is a warrior and one is a diviner who is like seeking prophecies and truth. And they make a mistake, however, I don't know, and they end up in the Fey Court. Woo, fairies. And I think it kind of, you know, they become torn between where their loyalty lies and where their hearts lie. So I'm assuming there's a romance of a fairy. Again, super excited to read it. The next book that I'm excited to read is A Dowry of Blood by S.T. Gibson. Now, I know his new book is coming out soon, and it is, I think, being released in May, and that's in Evocation. So I thought I would like to read another book first, just to get the author's way of reading, just to get the author's way of writing, not reading. And anyway, this is basically focused on a retelling kind of like Dracula, I guess, and his first bride, and it focuses on the Gothic kind of romance and the struggles that she goes through. And it sounded exciting to me because also I read Dracula for the first time last year and I really enjoyed it. So it will be interesting to see it from another kind of point of view, and I've heard good things about it, so yeah, hopefully I'll pick that up at some point this year. So the next book I'm excited to read is Godkiller by Hannah Kaner, and this recently kind of came out. I've seen it very publicised and hyped up in the bookstores I've been in recently, but it sounds really great. It's, you know, a slayer of gods, a disillusioned knight, and they have to defeat this deity, and one, the cover does just look really beautiful, and two, it sounds really fun, and it sounds different to some of the fantasy I've read recently. I've been reading a lot of obviously kind of fairy romance fantasies, but this sounds different, and it has like assassins in it, and it sounds exciting, so I'm looking forward to reading that as well. So the next book that I'm looking forward to reading is The Prison Healer by Lynette Noni. Now, I saw someone on, I think it was like Instagram or some sort of reel, say that this book was kind of loved by people that enjoyed ACOTAR and Fourth Thing, and I enjoyed those books. You know, I know they're not the best literature, but I enjoyed the themes, and this one came up as something that was suggested, and it focuses on a young healer who takes on a challenge in a prison, and it's a YA fantasy, so I personally actually really enjoy a lot of YA fantasy. I think it's just easier to read sometimes, there's not so much stress. I struggle sometimes with the books that are adult fantasy and there's a lot of world building, particularly like Priory of the Orange Tree. I just could not get behind that book. There was just like, it's just too much. I feel like I need a notebook to take down notes whilst I'm reading a book, but for me that ruins the immersion of actually getting into the book. I know like there's plot holes in some of these fantasy books that don't have as big world building, but honestly, like, there's magic, so I feel like it can't be explained anyway, so why does it need to be explained? It's just magic, you know. But yeah, that's why I'm excited to read a YA fantasy book. So lastly, this is a book that is coming out I think in August, and that is Lady Macbeth by Ava Reid. I'm super excited to read this one. I read my first Ava Reid book at the end of last year. It was A Study in Drowning. I did make a little video in one of my vlogs about that and how I really enjoyed the book. Ava has a very beautiful way of writing. She has very descriptive writing and really lovely like analogies of things, and I just really loved it. It's very kind of poetic, but the story is also really meaningful. She touches on a lot of like important matters, especially surrounding mental health and like women's issues, and so I'm looking forward to this retelling. I know it's kind of gonna have the Gothic stories, but also I think because it focuses on Lady Macbeth, it will have those sort of feminine issues in it as well. So yeah, I'm looking forward to reading that one, and I think there's some magic in there as well. So yeah, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know what you think of my TBR, what books I'm looking forward to reading. I got into reading really just a couple years ago. I got back into it as an adult. I'm 25 now, so there's a lot of books out there that I haven't read that a lot of the booktubers have, and it'll be kind of my first time, I guess, reviewing some of them. But yeah, there are a lot of obviously new books that are coming out this year that I'm excited to read as well, and I just hope that you guys find this useful in case you're kind of stuck on what books you want to read. And also, you know, if you have recommendations that you think I would enjoy, or even just like something that came out years ago that you think, oh, Naomi, you'll enjoy this book, then please like feel free to comment down below and let me know, because I'm more than up for taking more books on my wish list. There are more than I said in this video as well. There is about 40 books on there, but I just narrowed down a few that I was really excited for. But yeah, thank you. Hope you've had your cup of tea, and I hope the rest of your day is good. Bye guys!